autism, which is a terrible name for what I have, because it gives the impression that I function highly. I do not. To give you an idea of what it feels like to be on the spectrum, basically it feels like being the only sober person in a room full of drunks. Or the other way around. Basically, everyone is operating on a wavelength you can't quite key into. To give you a visual, this woman is on the spectrum. That is the story of my fucking life. Honestly, it's a funeral, same place, same time last week. Why didn't I get the memo? Why are they kissing? I don't like the sound. I never get the memo. I never do. I've always missed the memo. I remember going from being the teacher's pet to being the teacher's nemesis in one lesson. And until I was diagnosed, I never understood what had happened. Now, the lesson was on prepositions, so strap yourselves in for this story. Now, I do like my teacher. She's a good teacher. I like the way she explained things, but we lost each other this way. This is how she began the lesson. She said, imagine a box. And I could do that. I was gifted to a point. Visual thinker, good box, solid, three-dimensional, nothing fancy, but there. And then she said, a preposition is a word that explains your relationship to the box. And that's when my thinking just fell apart, because I thought, I'm related to a box? And then she said, now, you can be behind the box. Does anybody know what the preposition is there? No, they didn't, but I had a question. I said, am I made of box? Now, let me bring you into my thinking there. I thought if I was related to a box, we must share DNA, and it made more sense in my head that I would be made of box than the box would be made of me. But my teacher was not privy to that gifted train of thought circling my head there. So she was a bit thrown, and she said, no, Hannah, you're not made of box. I'm surprised you had to ask that. I said, okay, you can be in front of the box then. Does anybody know what the preposition is there? No, they didn't, but I had another question. I said, does the box have a name? I thought if I had a name, I could work out how we were related. Maybe we were cousins. And she said, no, it's a box. Boxes don't have names, Hannah. What boxes do you know have names? And I started listing breakfast cereals. She's like, all right, okay. You can be beside the box. Does anybody know what the preposition is there? No, they didn't, but I had another question. Now, I don't remember my thinking behind this question, but I remember asking it because when I did, everybody laughed and I had no idea why. But I remembered really liking the feeling. Uh-oh. This was the question. I said, am I allowed to eat the box? Of course, yes. Everybody is laughing except me and the teacher looking back. I don't know why the fuck she wasn't laughing. As far as jokes go, that's a classic. A baby died, just asked if she was allowed to eat the box. She didn't think it was funny. She's like, okay, all right, okay. Shh, 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 shh. Calm down. Okay, we might be on the wrong track. How about we imagine something else in relation to the box then? Okay, how about a penguin? Now, the penguin can be inside the box. Does anybody know what the preposition is there? No, they didn't, but I had some fucking questions about the penguin. I said, what is the penguin made of? And that was the question that broke my teacher. You know you've broken a teacher when a teacher who never swears, swears bad. So I said, what's the penguin made of? And she's like, penguin? I mean, it's made of fucking penguin. And as far as answers go, that's mwah. Like, that is watertight. That is a stunning answer. You can't logic out of that answer. That is a good answer. But it was at that point I thought, oh, I might be on the wrong track. But I had other questions pressing, but I thought, now doesn't seem the time. She seems upset. So what I thought is, I might hang on to my question. That's what I thought. And that was my mistake. I should have either asked my question then, while in the thick of it, or not at all. Because I did the worst possible thing. I waited until she felt safe. Then I asked my question. But I waited so long, it wasn't even the same lesson. It was much later in the day, in silent reading. I waited so long, it wasn't even a question anymore. It was more of a theory, and that made it worse. I said, what if the penguin ate the box? Wouldn't then you say the penguin's a little bit made of box? So get out. And that was the first, but not the last time I was sent out for reasons I had no idea why. Because the thing is, I was genuinely engaged in that lesson. Like, I really wanted to know what a preposition was. It wasn't like I was sitting there going, prepositions? I've never fucking heard of them! But as she explained to me later, she said, you're being deliberately obtuse. I'm like, but I'm not a triangle. I did not learn what a preposition was that day. Look, I understand what they are now. I'm all over it. And I also understand if the penguin ate the box, the penguin would be around the box. Honestly, the day I was formally diagnosed with autism was a very good day. Because it felt like I'd been handed the keys to the city of me. Because I was able to make sense of so many things that had only ever been confusing to me. Like why I could be so intelligent but struggle to leave any proof. Why I can't fill in forms. Why I felt such a profound sense of isolation my entire life, despite trying so hard to be part of the team. And that is a big thing about being on the spectrum. It is lonely. I find it very difficult to connect to others because my brain takes me to places where nobody else lives. And you can't just start talking to people about the pouch of Douglas at the dog park. People do not like it, and I tried more than once. But I'm not here to collect your pity, I'm here to disrupt your confidence. Because clearly I've worked out a way to share my thinking. Haven't I? Like you can call this whatever the fuck you need to call this. A monologue? A lecture? You say tomato, I say ketchup, busy road. Let me dumb it down for you. What this show is a metaphorical preposition that explains the relationship between what you see me think and what I'm genuinely able to think, because I like the way that I think. If the world is right and I'm right in it, I can find my funny zip and my thinking expands. There is beauty in the way that I think. I don't think outside the box. But as it turns out, if I ask nicely, yes, I am allowed to eat the box. Oh, look. Sponsored by McDonald's. Can you see him? Can you see him? What a cunt. Now this is Saint Bernard. That's Saint Bernard, that's the Virgin Mary, that's the baby JC, and that is a tiny lion. Now, can you see the main action that's going on in this picture? Can you see what's happening? The Virgin Mary is lactating on his fucking face. G'day. Now, this guy's going, you know, look, I'm usually the weirdest thing in a picture. I'm a tiny lion, but he's not, though, because the Virgin Mary is lactating on his fucking face. Now, this picture tells the story of how Bernard became Saint Bernard. One day, he's regular old Bernard. And then he had a vision, and in that vision, the Virgin Mary appeared to him and lactated on his fucking face. Now, I'm not judging the bloke. We've all had the dreams. We've all had them where we wake up and go, I did not know that about myself. Fine. What's weird, though, is he did not wake up and go, I might file that under secret. No, that's not what he did. He woke up and said, I better tell the fellas. And then the fellas have a meeting and go, this is amazing, we better call this one a saint. He's a saint now because what? Sorry? What? He's a saint because what? He had a wet dream? And now he's a fucking saint? He witnessed the miracle of lactation and now he's a saint? He made it about himself and now he's a this is a low bar. This is proof men have named all of the things and rigged the fucking game. This is not enough. Let's talk about a meritocracy now. This is Saint Cecilia. She had to learn the fucking cello. What did Bernie do? It is not enough. Isn't it weird that the cello has been invented, but not the music stand? Why are they still relying on small naked babies? This is my favourite painting. This is the Duchess of Alba by the great Spanish artist Goya. I love it because she would have paid a pretty penny for this portrait. And she paid that pretty penny just so she could tell people for centuries to come that she's got shoes on. I've got shoes on. I've got shoes on. Y'all, I've got shoes on. That is what I imagine the whippet was saying in the dog park. I got shoes on. Women getting stuck to rocks is the #2 hobby of ladies of all time. All time. This is this one's made of rock. They are just getting stuck. Look, what is happening here? What? That is a salty, salty body of water. Like, she's not swimming. She's just skating across the surface on a fanny. What do you do with your knees? Cat's had a stroke. He's going, thank God you're in the nude. I'm painting a landscape. That's a big baby. That is a chunker. She would have had to pull the ripcord on the pouch of Douglas to fit that. This is the Venus of Willendorf. She predates ancient Greek beauty ideals. Do you know when this was carved? Paleolithic times. I'm on the paleo, motherfuckers. I am on the paleo. This man is in Slytherin. This man is in Hufflepuff. Look, he's a famous old dog.